Hello, hello. I'm not sure who's on, but hello. Share the live. We're going to get started in a minute. Tag some people if you feel like some people need to hear this conversation. Okay.
We live, we good.
You good? You good? Okay. All right. Hey, Charlie. He said, "What's good?" Okay. So just for starters, those who are on, those who will be coming on, those who've never been on before. So the normal is ask your questions, get your comments in the comment section. We're going to put them on the screen for our guests. The topic is communication breeds love. Share the live, tag some people in. Our guest is here to be used, y'all. Pick his brain. Don't hesitate to use this man. It's not often that we can get a man to want to come out and speak on situations. So use him while he's here. So
Thank you. I appreciate that.
let's go ahead and get started. Justin, go ahead, just give us a introduction.
My name is Justin Jenkins. I'm from Fairview Heights. I've been in the area, man, for about 20 years. A lot of people know me. Some people are just getting to know me. I own a detailing business and a clothing line. Um, and my family is my everything. So everything I do, every step I take, every move I make is to make sure that they're taken care of, they're well protected. Um, and I just try to enjoy life.
Okay. You got a ministry, a brand, a business, anything you want
Yeah,
to shout out?
Unique Detailing Services is the name of my detailing company.
Okay.
A lot of people actually have used it. You can Google it. It's on the website. We have over 30 reviews, 5-star rating. As of a couple of days ago, I just signed a contract with a dealership here in Fairview Heights. The owner
Ooh,
has
okay.
he has two dealerships, one in O'Fallon, one in Fairview Heights. So that's going to be it's going to be huge. So I'm blessed. I'm excited about it. Unique Vibes Apparel. That's my clothing brand. That's what's on my hat. That's taking off. I'm just got some more work to put into it, but just one step at a time. I'm just blessed and I'm thankful to be able to be in the position that I'm in.
I agree. Guys, you got to give me your link too, so I can put that in the caption when we're done.
I got you.
Somebody named Ronnie said that's the only place they'll take
Yes,
their
sir. That's my
vehicle.
brother. That's
So,
my brother from mother.
oh, okay, okay. And guys, so you don't miss a future episode or future broadcast, make sure when you go to my YouTube or Facebook channel, hit the subscribe button, the notification button, so you can get them notifications when we go live. Justin, what made you choose this topic?
Um, I chose this topic simply because of the relationships that I've been in, everything I've been through. I felt like certain things wouldn't have happened had I just communicated how I felt, how I didn't feel, and vice versa. So I felt like a lot of times I didn't want to communicate something because I didn't want to face the consequences of what I was going to say. You know what I mean? We
Mm,
avoid certain things. We avoid saying certain things because we don't want the because just like a child, they avoid telling you stuff because they don't want to get in trouble,
yeah,
right? They don't want to hear mom or dad's mouth. And it's sometimes it's the same for me. It's the same thing in a relationship, right? You avoid telling that your significant other certain things because you don't want to have to answer certain questions. And someone that loves you are going to ask those tough questions that
right,
you don't want to answer. But in a
right,
relationship, you have to have tough questions. You have to have tough conversations. And a lot of times we avoid it. We shut down. We get quiet and we don't want to
absolutely.
talk about it. More so, men more so than women.
I
So
agree.
that's why I chose this topic because I'm still learning. I'm not perfect, but at the same time, I'm starting to understand better what it means to communicate and how important it is to a relationship, to anything you have in life that means anything to you. You gotta communicate because a closed mouth don't get fed.
Yeah, and I agree. That's the main purpose of my brand. It's not about being perfect, but it's about learning, growing, and wanting to become a better you. So
Absolutely.
I applaud. I don't like focusing on a person's past too much. I applaud the person when they make the decision to move forward, and
Yeah,
that's why I'm a life coach and not a therapist because I don't want to dwell on the past anything. When I see the green light that you want to move forward, now it's time to life coach you. So I love that you said that. And it's one of those things too. as you was talking, I thought about, I've heard some men say, women always say they want the truth. They don't want the truth because the minute I give you the truth, then I'm in trouble anyway, or you still mad anyway. So I,
I've said I've said that before, and it's like in my mind, I didn't say it out loud, but I've said it to myself, like she want the truth, but if I tell her the truth, like it's gonna open up a whole nother door. But sometimes keeping that door closed, not exposing that truth, a woman that loves you is gonna find out
yeah,
what's going on, be it good or bad.
yeah,
She gonna find out. I know firsthand. She gonna find out, and then it come back to why didn't you just tell me?
mm,
And now if you'd have told her the first time, you don't have to answer this question as to why didn't you just tell me? So
mm,
it's easier said than done as a man. I get it, but if you can, just put your best foot forward and talk to her. Tell her what's
yeah,
going on.
yeah. It's either way, there's going to be issues depending on
The
whatever the
situation.
situation is. But yeah, it's like get that out right now versus you lingering it on, and then now the consequence or repercussion is magnified that much more because you lied to me again when you had the opportunity to tell me the truth.
Absolutely.
So I don't think people realize. I don't know if I should say love, but I don't think people realize how much more we respect you guys as a man for you to tell me the truth up front and then allow us to grow from that versus you lying to me thinking, okay, I'm gonna get out of this one with this lie. And then I have to find out something later. That just makes it that much more worse. It
My
makes
mama,
the trust.
yeah, it makes sense. My mama used to tell me like, if you would tell, when you tell a lie, you got to tell this lie, another lie to cover it up. And you was right. It's love. Like, if a woman don't love you, she ain't gonna want the truth. A woman that love you gonna want the truth. A woman that love you is gonna want you to be your best self with her.
Mm-hmm.
So that coming whatever you got coming with. You understand what
Absolutely.
I'm saying? So you tell the truth. If that woman loves you enough to hear the truth and speak to you, then that's what it's gonna be. Now, she has to love you enough to know that this is who you are, but love herself even more to say, okay, I can't go down this road again. I can't give you that second, third, fourth, fifth chance. There's been times where I felt like, okay, I ain't coming back from this. You understand what I'm saying? Because I'm not perfect. But a woman has to love herself enough to know when it's time to say bye.
I agree. There's
You
definitely
understand
two
what I'm saying?
sides to that.
And
Yep.
then a man has to know if a man knows his woman, he knows, okay, if I tell her this, it's over with. But you got to understand, like, you got to move the best way that you can. And that's where communication comes in, because a lot of times when you talk to a man and you ask him why you did this or why you did that, the excuses, the reasons he gives is not valid, because it's not valid because you never talked to her about it. Well, I don't like the way you cook. I don't like the way you wear your hair. I don't like the way you, whatever it may be.
Mm-hmm.
But you never told her those things. You never sat down and said, babe, look, is there any way we can do this different or do that different? Or can you, whatever it may be, you have to be able to communicate. You have to be able to talk to. And that's where I feel like I fell short at a lot of times. Like a lot of times I've been married twice and I'm engaged now. And I just feel like had I communicated better, had I told the truth, had I understood how to love and how to communicate, then it would have things would have maybe different right now in my life. But I wouldn't change anything
Mm-hmm.
because I don't have bad blood with anybody in my past.
Yeah.
But my lack of communication, my lack of honesty is it sucks. You know what I mean? Sometimes. And
Mm-hmm.
we all have to face it. And that's where I fell short at a lot of times.
Yeah. I think communication is a really tough one, especially for me. And going back to the part where you say if a woman that loves you, she needs you to communicate, she needs you to tell the truth, and then she'll probably stick it out with you even after you told the truth. That's where I feel like men, they don't want the woman to leave, so maybe they tell the lie at times, but you got to save even yourself the headache because you may be with a woman that's really not for you. So telling
Facts.
the truth to her, that's gonna show if this woman really loves you. It's gonna show if she's with you,
Yeah.
etc. But then on the flip side of that as well, I feel like it opens up a different form of intimacy when you're communicating the honesty to her. And yeah, she goes on her rant, she's mad for a while or whatever. But if she sees the man that she loves, it sees that he hurt her, he hurt her, and he wants to change. I believe that union will be powerful. But
Right.
to be able to be with a woman too, if a woman is going to stay, they also have to know, like you said, you got to know when enough is enough, because you can't stay with a man that has told you, that has opened up to you, and everything he does now you're weighing down on him. You're
Yeah,
not giving him a chance to prove to you that he's trying. So, it's two sides of that story when it comes to communication.
it is. And at the same time, like I said, I've been on both sides. So being on both sides for me, it was, I think a lot of times, I'm 37. So as I got into, when I got married, my first marriage, when I got married, my second time, like I was growing. So a lot of the questions that I got asked was, why did you lie? Why did you lie? Why did you lie? And it's like, I got tired. I'm right now in my relationship, like I've gotten so sick of hearing, why did you lie? It's like, damn, Justin, you need to just stop lying, tell the truth. And that's why things fall apart, because men, we lie because we think, well, we're protecting you, or we don't want you to be hurt, or we don't want you to do that. And it's always, same thing's been said, if you don't want to hurt me, you wouldn't have did it, or if you don't want to hurt me, this wouldn't happen, or that wouldn't have came out. So if I could tell anybody anything, man or woman, just tell that tough truth. You understand what I'm saying? Get it out. And if she love you enough to stick it out, then so be it. But you have to afford her that opportunity to make that decision.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you don't afford her that opportunity, and we go a year, we go 2 years, we go 6 months, whatever it may be, and the truth comes out, then you left looking, you alone. Now she may still love you, but she love you enough to say, okay, I gotta go.
Yeah.
And that's gonna hurt you more than it's gonna hurt her.
Yeah.
Because a woman is gonna cry and heal in private, but she's gonna move on. You won't know if she's good or bad, but she's gonna know if she's good or bad. She may still be hurt, but she's got to be strong enough, and she will be strong enough to move forward. And you just have to afford her the opportunity to make that decision. You can't lie to the woman and say, okay, I did this to protect you. And she said, okay, because a woman never stops thinking. Her mind never stops going.
We always think, man, I have to get my
I
thinking under
promise.
control. Like it's not always
Yeah.
healthy either. Guys, share the live. Guys that are on, share the live. Tag somebody in. Before I go to my next question, Justin, you said a whole bunch. I want to go back to the part that you said. I don't want to misquote you. I think you said something about men men tell a lie because they try to protect you or something like that.
Right. So basically, I said that, some men, I just use myself in the past, I would say, I just didn't tell you because I want to hurt you. I didn't tell you because I was trying to protect you and stop, so you wouldn't stress out. It don't matter whether it's another woman or whether it's a bill. I know now how important it is to just talk about everything. No surprises.
No
Because
surprises.
women don't like bad surprises. They like a purse, they like food cooked for them, whatever that may be. But the BS that come with some surprises, they don't want that.
Yes.
So that's what I mean.
I don't like the food, but I mean the purse. I take the food though. But
I'm with you.
but no, I agree. It's a hard thing to break because a lot of us we've been trained differently. Our life experiences, we've been just taught and molded ourselves to be a certain way. So what you're saying is something that's a learned behavior. It's not something that's instilled. And that's what I want women to be patient with you guys on. It's not Charity sound
She
greedy.
said you're greedy.
It's not that I'm taking up for you guys, but again, I'm here. I'm human empowerment. That's what my brand is. So I'm here for the man's wellness and the woman's wellness. So when it comes to something like that, I want women to be more graceful when it comes to a guy having to learn that part, having to learn, I need to be honest with her. If I lie, it's going to be worse. And I'm not saying settle, and I'm not saying, just stay and so he get it together. That's not what I'm saying. You use discernment on how long you should stay. But in the process of staying, I think women, we do need to be a little bit more patient with these men because it does seem like they learn a lot later than us for whatever reason. But I got men here like Justin, like he said a lot of things, and it took him two divorces to get to where he's at to, speak on these
Yeah, I
things.
mean,
So,
it's that, and just going back and revisiting a lot of stuff. And even now, like, engaged, I've been with my fiance we've been together 4 years, and I've put her through a lot. You know what I mean? But, upon she just showed me a lot of different things that made sense. Things that I had to figure out on my own. I had to figure out, okay, is this what I want? Do I know what I want? You know what I mean? You have to learn yourself. If you don't understand and love yourself, like if you're single right now, you have to understand yourself. You have to know what you want, and you have to understand, like, people, you have to love people without reservation. You understand what I'm saying? You cannot go into a relationship with expectations set high, and you don't even know what your expectations are for you. And I
I
think
love
for
that.
me, growing up, like you said, it was a top behavior. Growing up, like being around my dad, being around my mom, things like that. Like I learned and then I didn't learn. I learned, it was just things that I learned and things that I didn't learn. But I had to form my own opinion about certain things. Like a lot of us is not, a lot of us are not afforded the opportunity to have an uncle or to have a dad or to have somebody to show them the right way to love. A lot of people
Absolutely.
this day and age growing up, you try to be that model parent, right? For your kids to see mom and dad loving on each other. You understand what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You want your kids to grow up and say, I remember I used to see dad kissing and hugging on mom all the time. I ain't had that.
Yeah.
You
And
understand what I'm saying? Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, Charity said she liked the word graceful. That's a big word I don't think we use when it comes to anything. Grace, grace, grace. Just what Jesse said. A lot of people don't have that pleasure, that luxury of seeing two parents in a home, and a lot of people don't have that luxury of, whether the dad in the home or not. They don't have that luxury of a man being taught how to love a woman. A lot of
Right.
them, they taught how to go get it, know how to get
Yeah.
that money, build that respect rapport with, the
Yeah.
community or other men, but they're not necessarily taught how to be husbands like girls are taught how to be moms and wives with the little dolls and dollhouse playing,
Yeah.
all of that. So we do have to be a little graceful. Before I go to my question though, I'm gonna put his comment is too long, so it won't show on the screen. But Justin, I do want you to comment back to what he said. Dean said they don't like the truth either. Then most women have a problem with a man being a good man. Women always try to fix a man first, and they haven't. Okay, Dean, I don't. Okay, women
So
always try to fix a man and first have to fix and figure out themselves.
so the women that are like what he's saying in this comment, those women, in my opinion, are the women that don't fully know what they want. You're trying to fix me to be a certain way, but let's pause and take a look at your past relationships. Let's take a look at the past men you've dealt with. If the past men you dealt with don't have a job, didn't have a job, didn't have parents growing up. See, when you're dealing with a person, you got to look at their mom and dad. How their mom and dad interact. What kind of household they come from. So, sweetheart, before you try to fix me, I need to see who you dealt with before
Yeah, that's
and see
true.
how well put together this man or this woman was. Because if this brother before me was well put together, had a job, etc., and he not with you, then you the problem.
So you know what? It goes back to them expectations you were speaking on too. And I actually want to do a live separately, specifically on expectations. I mean not with you, but somebody.
I got
But
you.
I think unless you want to, but
I'm with it.
I think a lot of us hurt our own selves with the expectations. I'm not saying don't have high standards, but I'm saying some of them expectations are above and beyond what you've ever even saw in your own life and
It's
what
crazy.
the other person ever even
It's crazy.
experienced. So
Yeah,
yeah,
I agree with you 200%. You can't, don't, you have to set expectations for yourself. Don't have expectations for somebody else higher than you have set for yourself. I'm gonna say it again. A man or woman cannot have expectations set higher for someone else than they have for themselves. If you don't have expectations set for yourself, how are you gonna expect to have expectations for me to meet?
mm-hmm.
That don't make sense. You got to value yourself more than you value anybody else in your life, period.
Mm-hmm.
So when you get into a relationship, your expectation, you need to be able to sit down at the table with your significant other and say, okay, babe, these are the expectations I have. This is what you know, understand what I'm saying? Y'all need to be able to come to a common ground. But if you've dated and you've courted, then you know where they at.
Yeah, that's the issue I think is going on. I personally, I feel like people are jumping in the sheets way too soon, and now you have a lustful connection with somebody before you even know who they are. Now we create relationship problems before a relationship ever existed.
Yeah,
Um,
and you right.
before look, I ain't even got into my questions yet. You guys are good in the comments. I'm gonna put her. her comment on the screen. And again, as a man, I want you to tackle this. Guys, hit that notification bell button, whether you're watching from YouTube or Facebook, so you don't miss a future broadcast. This year, I'm really hoping to tackle so many more topics. So that's dealing with relationships and friendships. So also inbox me if you want to be a future guest so we can get that on here. But Brianna said, and this was going back to Dean's comment, but she said, is she trying to fix or is she trying to build him though? Coming from a man standpoint, is there a difference in that?
It's a huge difference. It's a huge difference. A woman that's trying to fix is a woman that sees potential in you. Y'all may, in my opinion, again, everything I'm saying is in my opinion. I'm not an expert, but what I'm saying is, based off everything I went through, a woman that's trying to fix you is a woman that may see that you're broken, may see that you or know that you went through some things. So she's trying to show you different things and fix certain things about you. You understand what I'm saying? Like, a woman that's trying to build is going to do everything along with you. The tonality in which they speak to you is going to be different on both accounts. So a woman that's trying to fix you, her tonality may be a little bit more sterner.
That's
A
good.
woman that's trying to build with you, her tonality may be a little bit more subtle. It may be more inviting. But a man that's been through some stuff that's sensitive, he's going to take offense to any tonality, especially the fixed tonality, because he's going to feel like, dang, she's trying to turn me into this person and turn me into that person. Nah, but she trying to make sure that you are A1. If this woman has told you she love you and her actions behind that word has shown that she love you, take it with a grain of salt and just follow. Just sometimes it's okay to follow your woman, because her knowing what you done been through and you knowing what she done been through, she gonna get you where you need to be. A woman that love you gonna make sure that you straight and vice versa. So
Absolutely.
it's all about tonality. Again, it's tough to some people to distinguish the two, but a woman that's trying to fix you, her tonality gonna be a little bit more sterner. That doesn't mean she doesn't love you. That just means she wants the best for you and for that household. Because if you paying a bit, if you working and bringing in the money, and you say you the head of the household, and she still feel like she got to fix you, then her tonality gonna be sterner.
Yeah. I personally, again, guys, we both speaking from opinions. Everything, anything somebody go live about is always opinions, personal experience, whatever. So, don't get offended or don't think we're
Yeah, no,
saying
I
it's
ain't trying to step on no
yeah,
toe.
it ain't a one for all answer, anything that we say. But I personally believe a woman that's trying to fix you will be very impatient with you, and a woman that's trying to build with you will be graceful with you. Back to the word that I use, grace. Um, Janisha said, well, that doesn't necessarily mean she's the problem. And that's going back to the part where you said if she had a man that had a job and all of this and they're not together, she's the problem.
200%. I agree.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that she's the problem. It could, and again, we all know men and women. And in this case, we're talking about women. We all know women who is the problem, right? So what I mean by that is, it could mean that no, she's not the problem. It could be the guys before me was the problem, and everything she's doing now is a preventative measurement to make sure that she protects her heart, protects everything that she's built. Because for a woman to get to where she at in life, she's went through. Most women have went through some things emotionally, spiritually. They've cried, whatever it may be, and they are strong because of everything they went through, and they don't want you wasting their time.
Mm-hmm.
So if it sounds like she's trying to fix you, she may see potential in you. So yeah, you're right. It may not be that she's the problem. It means she want to prevent a problem.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, everything is case by case. Nothing. Sometimes it is that she's the problem, can't keep a man. Sometimes is that she's picking, the wrong man, and the men are the problem. So it's definitely case by case.
It go both ways.
Mm-hmm. So Sandra said because people get into relationships before they are healed and ready. Absolutely. She said they don't take the time to reflect on themselves and past decisions.
Yeah,
Absolutely, Sandra.
absolutely. That's my fiance, so she's right.
Hey, fiance.
Yeah, she's right. We've had this conversation many times, and at
Yeah.
first I didn't understand it, but I understand it better now. Again, this is just coming from somebody that loves you enough to try to
Yeah.
teach you. And she's right. I mean, I've been there. I've seen friends of mine go into a relationship not because they didn't want to be lonely, but because they weren't healed. They thought they was healed. They didn't know themselves. I
Yeah.
didn't know everything about me that I needed to know. I didn't understand everything that I need to understand. So I agree 200%. You gotta take some time and be selfish, man. You gotta put yourself first. You gotta treat yourself. You know what I mean? You have to You got to just do everything for you. When you go through a
Absolutely.
long-term relationship, before you get into anything else, take a year, 2 years, whatever it may be. You take that time for you and you get your mind right, because you can't go into another relationship broken. It's not
Absolutely.
fair to the other person. It's
Yeah.
not fair for them to try to fix something that they didn't break.
Mhm.
You understand what I'm saying?
And,
And that's on both ways.
and we do that a lot. It's like I see people jump in relationships 6 months apart, and I'm like, shoot, 4 to 6 months apart. And I'm just like, okay, you're happy that somebody wants you, but at the same time, when you break up again, have you sat there and thought like, dang, maybe I wasn't ready? What is it about me that I'm keep breaking up with these people within a limited amount of time? So you don't know. Maybe they're projecting whatever happened on a previous relationship to this. I mean, I don't know. People, when people post, they're
No, I
always the
get it.
victim in it. So
Yeah, I mean, everybody gonna play the victim, but in my experience and everything I've seen, and just people want what they see. You understand what I'm saying? They may not be ready for it, and they know they're not ready for it, but they just want it because it look good,
mm-hmm.
right? It's like a kid going to the store. They want it because it look good. You want this relationship, you want this man because somebody else on it, or because somebody else didn't have it. You don't
Mm-hmm.
want it. You don't even care about it. You don't want nothing about him, but you want the title. You want just the whole ordeal of being in a relationship,
Yeah,
and it don't work out because you weren't ready for it, or vice
absolutely.
versa.
Or vice versa. Absolutely. Charity said people want to get with that person and make them who they want and not want them for them. I have to love
Yeah.
you for you and we gotta grow together. Absolutely.
Yeah, that just goes back to saying you gotta love that person with no reservations. You gotta love that person for who they are and what they stand on. And if who they are and what they stand on is something that you feel like you could be okay with, then you grow with that person. But if you dating that person and you talking and you get to know that person, pay attention to what they say, how they move, and the things they do. The small things, from do they keep their nails clipped? Do they are they up on their hygiene? Different things like that. And if those things are okay with you, then you move forward. But you move forward knowing this is who they are. Don't move forward saying it's okay, and then 6 months, 7 months later, you come telling me you don't
Oh,
like this. I'm gonna put you out. Don't play with me. Understand what I'm saying? Like, you knew I was the type of person. You knew I smack when I don't, but I'm just saying. You understand what I'm saying?
that Charity said it again. However, a lot of people don't even like their partner's personality. You got to think about that. And
Yeah,
exactly. So you get with
yeah.
somebody thinking you can fix whatever it is you don't like, and then when you can't fix it, then
No,
boom.
like in real life, they boring. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
You didn't
yeah,
know that. You telling me you didn't know they was boring when you dated. You know what
yeah.
I'm saying? Y'all went to dinner and you didn't laugh not one time. You
Mm-hmm.
knew this,
Yeah.
but you still chose to. Nah, it's not. It don't go like that.
Yes. Okay, guys, my friend whooping me. I do have my Cash App in the caption, guys. If you guys who have followed me all of last year and going to follow me this year, if you've been blessed by my panels, go ahead and send any generous amount to my Cash App as a donation to my business and my brand. I would greatly appreciate that. April says being a good man is a very generic description. It doesn't tell me anything about the man. Yeah, I agree.
That's good. I think a lot of people can say they're a good man and be a good man in certain in different aspects of relationship. A good man depends on who you with, right? In my opinion, I could say I'm a good man for my fiance. The next man may say they're a good man for this person. Not everybody's going to be a good man. It just depends on who you with. You may have your own definition of what a man, how a good man needs to be to you. And he
Absolutely.
may do everything perfect that you need him to do. And to you, that's a good man. To somebody else, girl, there ain't no,
It's not enough.
that's fine. But he good to me. So that's gonna work for me. So I agree. It's a case by case basis, and there's no, in my opinion, general term, because a man could go to work, pay the bills, do all those things, and still be off doing what he do.
To say,
I was that
okay,
person. I'm gonna keep it 100. That was me. I made sure everything in the house was good. I made sure my kids, nobody wanted for nothing. But I still made mistakes. I still cheated. I still did what I did.
mm-hmm.
But on the outside looking in, he a good man. He working, he taking care of everybody. Everybody got a good Christmas every year. But behind the scenes, I was messed up.
Yeah.
So again, a good man is whatever you feel is gonna work for you.
And I always tell my friends, and I posted it before, just because a person is a good person to you don't mean they're a good person to somebody else.
Yeah.
Everybody gets different versions of a person. And so me knowing that, that's why I don't judge people or treat people according to somebody else's experience. I
Yeah.
have to have my, on with you, because you may have been horrible for somebody else, but to me, you're the best thing that ever crossed my life.
Yeah.
So,
And that's perfect.
yep, guys, share the live. Justin, I want you, before I get to my, I still haven't got to my question. Before I get to my question, I want you to just kind of give a little comment to Denise's question. I don't think it was a question that she need answers to, but it's a good rhetorical, like a subjective question. So, can we really fix other people? Is what she said.
No, but we can kind of guide them, right? In my opinion, I feel the way you fix slash guide a person is to share your own experiences with them. You show them best practices when it comes to certain things in life. You know what I mean? That person you with may not understand how important it is to balance a checkbook. They may not understand how important it is to communicate, and you do. It's just certain things in a relationship that you feel needs to be fixed, and or you feel that person needs to be guided a different way on. Just like with a child. You can't fix your kids, but you can guide them and show them the right way. And I'm not saying in a relationship you have to look at your significant other as a child, but what I am saying is you have to be able to say, okay, I need to show them how to do it the right way. So she's right. You can't really fix a person, but I think you can guide them and show them something different than what they've been doing that may ultimately lead to them fixing what they've been doing. Does that make sense?
It makes sense to me, viewers. Hopefully, it made sense to you guys. I always say you can't fix a person, but you can encourage them to be a better version of themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And it's, and that's not by beating them down. That's inspiring them to find themselves, inspiring them to, again, be the better version of themselves, not be the version that you want them to be. So that's the difference.
Right. That's right.
Okay, now we get into my question.
Let's go.
Okay. Okay, so give your best description of what love is.
Um, love is kind, man. Love is patient. Love is going to show you how to love back. You understand what I'm saying? If somebody, for me to say I love you, that means I would go above and beyond to make sure that I've helped you the best that I can and I've shown you. Love is not necessarily, and I had to learn this, giving that person everything that you have material to offer. Love is about being there. Love is about, in my opinion, just that communication, taking the time out to talk. Sometimes it's not even talking, it's just listening. You understand?
Yes.
Hey, look, what's going on with you? Tell me something good. You understand what I'm saying? It could mean whatever that may mean. Their feet may hurt. It don't matter. Love is just being able to laugh and smile with the person that you sharing that space with. Love is gonna be patient with you, gonna show you the right way, not necessarily fix, but guide. A woman that don't love you, a man that don't love you, he won't guide you or fix you. It will guide you and show you, hey, babe, let's try it this way, or whatever it may be. But love is something that everybody's gonna have their own definition of love. And I feel like in my life experiences, love has shown me so many different things. But more importantly, it's been patient, it's been understanding, and it's been kind. And it's shown me just how important it is to talk and tell the truth. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. Love should be a no judgment zone.
Absolutely.
It allows people to be who they are and be able to be receptive too when you gotta pull that paddle out and whoop them, for
Yeah,
whatever.
buddy. Yeah.
Okay. Next question. Hold on. Okay. So, what does communication consist of?
Mm. Um, it, it consists of just talking about everything. Anything you feel like that person wouldn't want to know, assume they want to know it, and you talk about it
Mm,
to the best of your ability. And again, that's something that I haven't always done. So that's what communication is, just physically communicating is just showing the things that you've been saying. See, a lot of times with a woman, when they get to communication, you lose a woman's trust by not communicating, because a woman stop trusting you when you stop communicating.
yeah.
And if you stop communicating, she's gonna think you're lying. Guess what? That trust you've spent 6, 7, 8, 9 months, a year building up, is down to zero. So,
Hmm.
along with that communication, verbally, to physically communicate, and to physically communicate with a woman, you have to stop doing the old habits you were doing. You have to move different. And a
Yeah.
woman's going to pay attention more to the physical communication versus the verbal communication. She hear you, but she got to see you too. And it's just this thing I always say: what you do speaks so loudly, what you say I cannot hear. Do you understand what I'm saying? I see everything you're doing, and that's louder to me than anything you're saying. So I've had to learn that you have to physically move and communicate. Now everybody's like that. Some people are okay verbally, but a woman that loves you, she wants to physically see you communicating with her, showing her things are different. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. So when it goes to that communication, I like Dean's comment. You can't be in a relationship with someone you're not friends with. If you have no communication, how are you even friends?
Facts.
So if you're not friends, how are you
Yeah.
even in a relationship?
Yeah, like you feel like, yeah, that's all good. I live with her. Like what? You understand?
Right. Like that's, oh yeah, she
Yeah,
cool.
she coming
Like,
with us? No, she good.
like what? Yeah. And that goes to the communication. Like if there's no communication, you gotta ask yourself first, are we even friends? Because if we're not
Exactly.
even friends, what's the point of even moving to a relationship if you're not even friends
It don't make sense.
at all?
I
What we
can't,
gonna talk
I
about?
can't, yeah, I can't sit down and watch a movie with you and share a laugh. We ain't got no inside jokes. Somebody got to go. You
Yeah.
can't. He 100% right.
And George hit it. George hit it too. There's a big difference between like and love. If you don't like your partner, love will never be enough.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
love my
If you don't,
dog. You understand what I'm saying? Like you get it.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? So she's absolutely correct. Like and love is a big difference.
yeah. If you don't, that's George. It's a guy. That's
Oh,
his
I'm
wife.
sorry.
That's his wife as a profile picture.
Hey, I'm sorry. My
All
bad.
good. But yeah, it's like, I mean, I don't like you, so what we gonna be talking about? You know what I'm saying? So I'm
Facts.
yeah. Communication has to be there for me to like, love, or even be in a relationship or
Yeah.
have a friendship with you. So what benefit will communication have in relation to love?
You love you. I think for a person to take time out, not take time out, but for a person to set aside maybe what they're not used to and communicate with you, I think for the person receiving that communication, it allows them to love you a different way. It allows them to love you on a deeper, more intimate level. See, when you communicate with a woman and you telling her maybe how you feel, maybe how you don't feel, whatever it may be, I feel like the more you communicate how your feelings, and again, I'm still learning this, but
Yeah,
in my experience and from what I know, if you communicate with a woman and you tell her things that you probably have never told nobody else, they love you different. You understand what I'm saying? Like not different in the sense of, well, I didn't love you before, but I love you
yeah,
now. They love you deeper.
yeah,
They love you more. They have a different look. They look at you different in a
yeah,
different respect. See, men, we don't. I've never expressed my. You know what I mean? I'm not an emotional person, so I'm not going. Oh, babe, this hurt my feelings, or this. That's not. Most men won't do that, and
mhm,
most women know that. So for a woman to get with a man and a man to communicate and do that, she may
yeah,
look at them. You may come home, brother, and she gonna rub your feet or something crazy, bro.
yeah,
You just talk to your woman. Yeah. So it makes no. I mean, they're gonna love you different.
yeah. Um, Dean said nobody's perfect. You have to go through battles and storms to grow with the person.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely. I used to say all the time, I don't want nobody that ain't been through nothing.
yeah.
Period.
And we're not saying there won't be arguments, there won't be disagreements or anything like that. But it goes back earlier to what he said. It's also the tone.
Yeah.
So, you got to have that communication and know your partner so that you know what tone to have with them, when, where, and how to even bring up a discussion, all of that.
Mm-hmm.
But, you don't know that unless there's some type of communication going on. Because, again,
Absolutely.
relationships are hard. It's two different personalities, two different backgrounds, two different people. So, yeah, there will be arguments or battles, that you guys go through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I mean, the way like me and my fiance communicate, I think is amazing because I can honestly say like we don't argue. We have discussions.
That's
And
good.
I'm sometimes hot-headed. So her tonality with me is just more subtle and more calm. And it's weird when she talks to me in a calm, subtle, after I've maybe thrown a fit or had got upset, I know it's time for me to calm down.
Yeah.
See, a woman that talks to you in a certain way, you should be able to know, okay, she calm, so maybe I should calm down. You understand what I'm saying? Some
Yeah.
men and the women in a relationship, he get loud, she get louder. And then
Yeah.
he get louder. And it don't work that way. Some
Yeah.
men and women, they got that Ike and Tina communication, and it works for some people, for some people, it don't. But each his own. I know
Yeah.
for me, you yell at me, I'm gonna turn up. And that's
Yeah.
just sometimes
But
it's not the best. I'm not gonna turn up that way, but what I'm saying, I talk louder. That's just
yeah,
that.
yeah, I agree. I agree. I like Mossy's comment. She said consistency, patience, but loving a person the way they need to be loved. Not everybody can do that. I think that's where we get it wrong too. I think we're loving people the way we want to be loved and not necessarily how they need to be loved.
And the only way she right, and the only way you're gonna know how to love that person is if they've communicated with you and
That's true
you've
too.
communicated with them and you've talked. And that way you can say, okay, I need to love this man this way. He like, he didn't have this, or he didn't have that growing up. Maybe I need to be this more of an influence in his life in this area versus this area. You have to talk. No, you can't say I'm leaving her because I don't like the way she loved me, or I'm leaving her because she didn't love me the right way. Bro, you never told her how to love you. You never showed her how to love you. You never had no communication with this woman about your feelings. That
Mm-hmm.
goes back to what I just said. We can't be closed off with our feelings and then expect this woman to read our body language and our minds and say, okay, oh yeah, I get it. I need to no, it don't work that way.
Mm-hmm. And I'm gonna
It,
go as
go
far as
ahead.
to even say, when you're in a relationship, there's no one for all. There's no script. There's no blueprint to it.
Not at
So again,
all.
you also knowing the person that you're with. Sometimes you're gonna have to learn their nonverbal body language. You're gonna have
Yeah.
to learn their nonverbal love language, and sometimes it won't be that they verbally express to you, what they need. But if you're in tune with this person, energy speaks. So you
Mm-hmm.
you can know how to love a person through what they don't say as well.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah,
it goes all
I
the way
agree.
around. Relationships are work.
It's a lot of work. And
It,
sometimes it's like it's a 40-hour week job. But if you honestly love that person you with and you care for that person, like it's easy work.
yeah,
It's easy work. I think the hard part is when you don't talk, when you don't communicate. You can't have any you can't hold anything back. You have to be able to talk about everything. You may not need to talk about it right now, but in the next day or so, you need to have that conversation. So yeah, no, it's work, but it's worth it if it's worth it to you.
mhm. uh, Dean said people be out here humping people they don't like, and you know what? You
Oh
gotta
look, he
they
said
do.
what?
That's sex is a big emotion. People are out here
Yeah,
you're having sex with people that you really don't like, and
and just
then
doing it just to do it.
just to do it, and then you find yourself in a situation you wondering like, wait a minute, why she think we together? We ain't together. We just had sex. Okay,
Yeah,
but you're
nah,
out here just humping anything that look good.
can't do
Now
that.
you can't do that. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
been there.
And when
It
you
get
find
ugly.
it gets ugly, real ugly.
Facts.
And when you find somebody is wanting you more than you want them because you hump them, then that's when that communication got to come in and you got to draw the line.
Yeah, and then depending on how mentally stable or unstable he or she may be, you may need a restraining order, and it just you can't have that.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, guys, keep the comments coming. I'm loving the comments. I'm loving the questions. We are here to help the community. I love y'all because y'all helping me. Everybody that go back to this video later, they're gonna read y'all comments, and hopefully somebody is growing from this. That's
She
what we're
said they
trying
gonna get
to
COVID.
do. What,
Charity funny.
what she say?
They gonna get COVID.
They gonna get covered from humping.
Out here humping everything. You got con.
Oh Lord.
She a fool.
Oh Lord.
Yeah.
Okay, so can love grow when the communication is limited?
Not. I don't think so. I don't think it can. Maybe it can for some people, but it just depends on that person. I know. I don't think it can just because. How can I love you if I don't know you? How can I love you if I don't know what you like, what you don't like? I can't love you the way you need to be loved, or you can't love me for that matter the way
Mm,
I need to be loved. And the way I need to be loved is with communication. You got to
yeah.
talk to me. You understand what I'm saying? If you don't talk to me, I'm gonna assume you don't love me if you don't talk to me.
Mm-hmm.
It may, you know what I'm saying, and vice versa. So me personally, I don't think love can grow if you don't talk, or if the communication is limited. I'm gonna feel like it's somebody else, or she may feel like it's somebody else. So you got to talk.
Mm.
You got
Absolutely. I love what Drake said. Communication helps to create an unbreakable foundation because then almost anything can be worked through. Absolutely. Almost
Mm-hmm.
anything, because if I find out whatever is going on, if there's an issue and I find out from you first before the world brings it to me, we got that united front. So I can handle
Mm-hmm.
anything that come my way because you've came to me, you've communicated whatever the issue was, so I won't get no surprises. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. I agree 200%. You got to be able to put, if you just put all your cards on the table. If you going into a relationship and you had this in your past and that in your past, and it's left whatever imprint it have, and she's willing to look past that, put all your cards on the table. Because if that woman find out of two of the five things that you didn't tell her, Out of everything you told her, if she found out 2 things that it's a wrap. She gonna feel like she can't trust you. So put it all on the table.
Yeah, absolutely. When communication is bad, name some things people can do to get it back on track.
Just being around, being there. I think in a lot of time, in a lot of relationships, when the communication is bad, that other person may feel like they're not enough. They may feel like, oh well, it's not love there, or it may feel like it's somebody else. If the communication is bad, the best way, in my opinion, to get it back on track is to spend time with that person. Go on dates. You have date night. You have whatever it may be. You spend that time and you focus on it. You give them your undivided attention.
Mm-hmm.
Period. If you can give them your undivided attention, I'm talking about put your phone up. Turn it, you know what I'm saying? If it's a TV show y'all watch, whatever it is, put your phone up and don't nobody else matter at that point. If you got kids, try to get them away for the weekend.
Mm-hmm.
But you time. I feel like it's the best way to fix that. But you have to be consistent with it. Don't give me a damn weekend and then 6 months later I'm back at the same thing. It don't work that way. You have to be consistent with it. You understand what I'm saying? And we get it. People need their space and people want their time and their space. But you can still have your own space, but and have that communication in that time.
But not 6 months of space.
No, you're gonna have to get up out of here. But
Man.
no, nonetheless, but you gotta have time. You have to put the time in. You have to spend that time with that person.
Yeah. Glenda says some people don't know the difference between communication and an argument, and some people take everything you say negatively.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. But again, I, it's case by case. Some people communicate loudly, and that goes back certain things. When a person's talking to you, their tonality could trigger something in your head to say, "Oh, look, who you talking to?" You
Yeah.
understand what I'm saying? That's why it's important to watch. It's not what you say, but it's how you say it. So if I'm watching how I say things to you, you can never ever misconstrued and think it's a argument. It's always going to be a communication because I'm going to talk to you in a lower tone. People that know me may think I'm being an a-hole because you have to know me to understand the way I speak. But nonetheless, it's just all about the tone you use. It's not what you say, but how you say it.
Yeah. Absolutely, I agree. I think I'm one of them people. Charity says she is too. Well, I'm one of the people that's gonna be like, wait a minute, who you talk to? Who you talk to? Because if that's what we doing, that's what we doing, and we know that never leads
It
to a
don't.
solution at all.
No, not at all. Not at all.
Um, so Tabasha said, to receive love, you have to be open to receive. Some don't even know how to teach others how to love them. Woo,
That's true. That's
absolutely.
yeah, that's true. You gotta be open to receive love. If I don't know how to love myself, I can't expect you to love me the way I need to be loved. Heck, I don't even know how to love. And I haven't even opened my heart enough to love myself.
Yeah.
I can't open my heart to allow you to love me.
Mm-hmm.
So when you are a man or a woman and you're single and you want this person to love you and you don't love yourself, it's going to lead to heartache. It's going to lead to hatred, whatever it may be. But you are not going to be happy with that person because you don't even know how to properly love yourself. You didn't open yourself up the right way to receive love because you don't understand what it means to love yourself. I like that.
Yeah, and going back to what she said, some don't even know how to teach others how to love them. I know I see women a lot. I'm not teaching no man how to do this and other, but listen, that's a part of communication. Teaching,
Yeah.
informing, whatever. If you don't like teaching, inform him on how to love you, inform him on who you is. But that, I feel like that
Mm-hmm.
is a big issue because a lot of women don't know even who they are. I think we compare love to Hollywood love or whatever is on these reality shows and all of that, and so you don't even really know how you want to be loved, in particularly. So of course, I'm not teaching no man how to love me. Okay, well, inform him how to love you. Then how about that? If that's a
Right.
bad word.
Right. And then along with the statement come that attitude and that body language. And somebody pick up on that and men see that.
Yeah.
If you walking around with the, I'm not gonna show you, I'm not gonna teach you, that mean you're not communicating. That mean you walk around with a whole attitude. You
Mm-hmm.
understand what I'm saying? Now, if I throw this pillow and hit you upside your head, you'll be mad that I messed up your hair. Come sit down and talk to me and tell me what's going on. Tell me what you like and what you don't like. But you have to have a man strong enough that's gonna do that to you. Some men ain't strong enough for that. Some men ain't
Yeah.
strong enough to deal with that who you talking to attitude.
Mm-hmm.
Some men like that. The men that like that, they may be crazy, they may not be. But if they're not strong enough to handle that attitude, they just need to understand how to maneuver with you.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Dean, you on a roll today. He said you have to learn the person's patterns and emotional triggers and know yours as well. And that's that nonverbal communication that I was speaking
Mm-hmm.
about. Because sometimes people won't come in and say, hey, sometimes I'm always triggered when you leave the TV on at night. Sometimes people don't verbally say these things, but if you watch again, like Jesse said, the body language and things like that, that's that nonverbal stuff that you got to also pay attention to, with your partner.
Yeah, if you go in the kitchen and do something and leave out, and your partner come behind you and you hear her sigh and slam the cabinet door, get what, buddy? She wants you to close them shits. Don't leave them open. You know what I'm saying? And that's just how it go. You just got to pay attention.
Yeah, absolutely. Before I go to my next question, I want to touch Denise's comment. Is really long, so it's not going to fit on the screen. So just bear with me while I read it. She says sometimes we have to be able to recognize someone else's love language and be receptive to their acts of intimacy and love. Although me receiving love is the way I prefer is important, I have to learn my husband's love language to understand how he expresses it. That's your partner's most sincere expression of love, so appreciate that too. Absolutely.
Yeah,
If
I
you
like
take
that.
time out to love me, yeah,
I
that's
need
just
to be able to pay attention and see that. Okay, how she moving is how she love me. I like that. That makes sense. I agree.
yeah. And that's why I say people are so quick to jump into relationships, and it's like you think, okay, I said we gonna be together. We good. Everything just gonna fall. The little puzzle pieces gonna come together. That's not the case. That's not
Yeah.
the case. You're gonna have to learn so much more about your partner that you didn't know before, and vice versa. And you're gonna actually learn a lot about yourself that you didn't know,
Mm-hmm.
as well. So yeah, I love that, Denise. Thank you for that comment. And she's married, y'all. I love her. If y'all don't follow her, follow her. She is so positive, funny too, y'all. She funny too, but she's so positive. I love positivity on my timeline. I love people being who they are on Facebook just as well as they are the same as in person. I met her in person, and she is everything that her Facebook book is. So I vouch for her. Um, Let me go to this next question. Did I put this on the screen? Hold on. Okay. With communication comes discernment. When should a person realize that love is no longer a factor for the union they have?
Mm. Um, if you keep going down the same road with a person, right? If they show no remorse, if they just don't care, if they just, you know what I'm saying? Like at some point, love stops playing a factor. You got to say, okay, this is just who this person is. And you either gonna deal with it or you not. And if it's something that's hurting you, I would assume you don't deal with it. But it's a case by, in my opinion, a case by case basis. You have to make that decision for yourself.
Mm.
People will only put up with so much, or
Yeah,
people will only do what you allow them to do. So
yeah,
if you're going to allow that person to continue to do those things, then you have to make that decision of when you have to when love is not a factor. Not your friends, not mom, not your cousin, not your people. You have to make that decision because I see a lot of time people get in your ear, or not obviously not you, but people get in that person's ear about certain things and they don't know the full story.
yep,
You understand what I'm saying? Don't get in my ear about something you don't know nothing about. You don't live with this man or this woman. Stay out their business. You
yes.
understand what I'm saying? I know everybody got a friend that they talk to, but that friend should be a friend enough to say, okay, you have to make this decision.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying? It's not fair for me to ask you, how do I handle this? Because you don't know the full story. You don't
Yep.
really know me like that. You understand what I'm saying? So you have to
Yep.
form your own opinion.
Yeah, most definitely got to form your own opinion because most people they won't tell the full story. They will only tell the story that makes them look like the victim. So I definitely agree. And then especially when it comes to a person's relationships, you got to be careful what
Yeah.
advice you give somebody on their relationship because
Yeah.
my tolerance may not be like your tolerance. That person,
Yeah.
that person may be in the middle of their breakthrough, and it's about to be the pivotal point of y'all relationship to where it's the best days y'all about to have, and I tell you to leave and you take my
Yeah.
decision, you take my advice. So yeah, you got to be real
Yeah.
careful.
I agree. You come home and your woman packing and you like, well, where you going? Who told you to leave? Oh, the chick that he done beat her and cheated on her and got 2, 3, 4 other babies. She gave you advice? Okay, cool. Y'all go ahead. Tell her come pick you up.
Yeah,
Because it's the same. It's you agree. You got to be careful.
yeah, yeah. Um, Draco's comment is pretty long. You see part of it. She said deep recovery methods. So this is good for anybody that's on. If you want some type of advice on, what you can do to help with communication. But deep recovery methods, whether it's counseling, long walks, long talks, written communication exercises, physical touch, mental touch, writing letters to each other, meditation, fun dates. All of them is really helpful when it comes to the communication box. So thank you, Drake. I love that you put that on the screen because it's necessary. And and not all of them will work for everybody, but take what she said, add on what you need to add on, but take something out of what she said and just try it.
Make it work for you.
Yeah. See what works and don't work for you and your partner, because everybody love language is different. So yeah. And then Dean says you cannot be in love with your guards up. How can you fall in love expecting a fight?
Yeah, that's real.
Yeah.
Some women some people go into a relationship with reservation.
Yep.
You understand what I'm saying? Like, hey, they go in expecting bad to happen.
Yeah.
You can't get the best out of that person when you go in expecting bad things to happen.
Yeah.
If you go in or do this, that, or the other, or vice versa, we're not going to grow. Yeah. So again, I think that goes back to getting over your past, getting through whatever it is that you went through, and being able to know how to accept love from other people. Yeah. Knowing what you want is going to prevent that, I think.
Yeah, knowing what you want is definitely going to prevent that. And then again, it goes back to knowing what you want. So what you want may not be what whoever you're talking to wants. So that's why you really got to be careful of who you expose to your information. I can't stress this enough. Do not, and I mean do not, post your relationship issues on social media. That's the wrong and worst place to be getting advice about your particular situation.
Yeah,
find a person or some people who are close to you that are unjudgmental and who can be a middleman to see both of you guys' sides of the story. But never take it to social media, because you're gonna have all them
everybody becomes a therapist at that point.
Yeah, everybody becomes a certified therapist. Yeah. And
everybody got wrong. And then when you snap or you go off on that person, now they mad at you because you didn't tell the truth. You know what I'm saying? Just basically what we said. If it's in the house, keep it in the house. It ain't nobody else business what you're dealing with, what you're going through, period. Yeah. Because everybody's going to have an opinion. It's hard for me to take advice from a person who's had X amount of failed relationships or just going through men or going through women. Like, I keep a lot of my stuff to myself in my house. So I agree with you 200%.
Because a lot of times you see more clearly when you don't have everybody throwing their opinion into everything.
Yeah.
You can hear the right voice that you need to hear at that moment way more clearly. And then energies matter. So you got to be careful who you're talking to, because you could be talking to these people thinking they are friends, and then they got these deep, secret, nasty energies who really don't want to see you do good, who really don't want to see you in a relationship. Right. So, they quick to knock you off your game. So you got to be careful of energies for real.
Absolutely.
Right, Charity, unless you get beat on, that's a whole different. My last panel in 2019 was on domestic violence. So guys, go back and find that and listen to what he has to say. So yeah, that's a total different story. For sure. Beat on, yeah.
And your friends in your corner, they see you every day, and then they start seeing you less and less, and they start talking to you less and less. Them same friends, they need to get in the car and come to your house. Mm-hmm. Period. Or they need to come get. It's just that is never a good situation, and you have to. Maybe you're not strong enough to say, okay, here's what I'm dealing with. Here's what I'm going through. Maybe you are being abused and you are able to go out. Yeah. But somebody in your circle have seen and noticed something different. Don't talk about that woman when she leave. Go help her. Mm-hmm. That's a whole nother conversation.
It is. Okay, guys, I have a couple more questions and we'll be ending now. So make sure you get your questions and comments in for him. Just once again, if you want to donate to the Cash App to help build the brand, we will have different events and stuff we got coming up. So if you want to donate to the brand, the Cash App is in the caption. Okay, Justin. So what other things along with communication needs to be present for love to grow?
Actions, man. Compliments. I mean, you have to be able to show that person everything that you said you were going to be.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? They have to be able to depend on you. They have to feel safe. Those are other things you have to do physically You know what I'm saying? Again, it's that nonverbal communication. You
Yeah.
have to be able to show that that person can depend on you, that they can trust you, and that they can be safe around you, that you're a good father. Those are all signs of nonverbal communication. You have to be able to stand on what you told that woman or that man you were going to do and or be. You
Mhm.
understand what I'm saying?
Yep.
You have to be the same person through and through. Don't I can't get with you and say I'm gonna do this, this, and that, and do it for 6 months, and then now I'm just sitting in the crib chilling.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You told me
Yeah.
you was a provider. You told me
Yeah.
you was gonna do all this. Now you sitting on the couch and you don't do nothing, bro, but eat and sleep. That's not how you have to be consistent. And I think consistency is the most important part of that.
I like how you said that though, because Denise made a comment. She said, "Knowing what you want is key, as well as when to leave. Folks be holding on, forcing love, then bringing babies into the broken relationship. Stop it. Now
It's
y'all stuck
tragic.
together." That okay? So
It's tragic.
back to I'm gonna keep that on the screen for a little bit more. But back to what you said with the whole sitting on the couch, and you said you was a provider. Now you're sitting on the couch. It goes back to what she's saying. Know what you want. Because when you know what you want, while you guys are dating before you actually become exclusive, you're gonna see this man sits on the couch and that he's not a provider. So
Yeah,
then when you go forth to get a relationship, now that's your fault because you saw what he was doing and you
yeah,
decide to be exclusive with him anyway. And like what she said, now y'all got babies. So now y'all
yeah,
back
absolutely.
together and you don't want to leave because you don't want a broken family. Whole time it's still a broken family.
The whole time it's broken. If you call it, if that man told you he working 9 to 5, Monday through Friday, off on the weekend, and you've called him 3 Tuesdays in a row, and he ain't home eating cereal, that's a
Yeah,
red flag. Don't
red
move
flag.
forward, buddy. He don't work 9 to 5s, and you
Yeah,
ain't never been. It's just so many different red flags. Just pay attention, man. People will try to finesse you, but you have to be smart and patient enough. I think patience is important when you're trying to love somebody. You
yeah,
be patient enough to see what you need to see to know that it's time for you to move forward or move away. Because
absolutely.
if you're patient, you're gonna see what you want to see, and you're gonna make it make sense. But if you're patient, you're gonna see what you need to see in order to move forward and formulate your own opinion.
I made a post today and I said one of my downfalls is that I always try to see the good in everybody, and I don't, instead of seeing them at face value. That's mine was speaking on friendships, but
Mm-hmm.
when it comes to relationships, it's the same thing. Like the red flags are always present. Present.
Mm-hmm.
You have to stop making them orange, blue, yellow, purple, whatever your favorite color is. It's red. It's red.
Yeah.
End of the story.
Yeah.
Pay attention to that red flag and then flee. Depending on
Right.
what the red flag is. Let
I
me
was just about to say, if that
say
red flag,
that.
yeah, if that red flag is something you feel like you could guide him and or her to something different, or if that red flag is something you feel like, okay, it's going to get better, I know what I need to do, or whatever it may be, and if you're patient enough to put in that time, then absolutely, that's a decision you have to make. But some red flags are just universal,
Yes,
period. If you
absolutely.
been in his house and you got to meet him at his mama house, that red flag is he is not who he say he is, or vice versa.
Yeah,
Don't do it. And if them 6 kids keep calling her auntie, guess what, buddy? Them same 6 kids around all the time, them her kids. Them ain't her nieces and nephews. Red flags. All right, go ahead.
absolutely. Okay, guys, this is my last question for him. Get any comments or questions in that you need before I end the live. Thank you guys for tuning in again. If you're following from YouTube or Facebook, go ahead and hit the notification button so you guys will not miss whenever we go live. Um, I am looking for guests for 2020. I do have a few on schedule already, but as always, we can't touch enough topics as long as we live. So get on my panel so we could touch as many topics as we can. I love love, especially Black love. So please, y'all, help me tear down some of these walls in the Black community when it comes to being healthy and our relationships and friendships. So last one, you got any last words of wisdom you want to give the viewers?
Um, don't base your relationship, be it a friendship or relationship, don't base those things off of what you see with other people. Right? If you're gonna love a person and be a friend with a person, be a friend with that person because of the reasons you choose to be a friend with that person. Love that man or that woman because of why you want to love that man and woman. Don't love them because this person loved that person like that. Love them for who they are and what they stand for. Period. Don't try to make them something that they are not ready to be. I won't say that they're not, but not ready to be. That's where communication can. If you want them to be who you want them to be, you have to communicate that to them, and you guys take that walk together until you get there. Don't
Mhm.
force somebody to be something that they're not ready to be. They may not be ready to be a husband. She may not be ready to be a wife.
Ooh.
Don't force that on them. They have to make that decision. No amount of argument or anything you're going to do is going to change that person or change whatever it may be. So be patient. If you're not ready to be patient enough to allow him or her to formulate that opinion, then it's time to part ways. And that's all I got.
I love that. I'm gonna come back to that husband part. Guys that are saying you want to be a guest, inbox me. I do let all my guests choose their topics. I don't choose your topic for you because you know what you've been through in life. You know the topic or issue that's on your heart that needs to be spoke on. So I allow all you guys to choose your own topic. So if you want to be a guest, please inbox me, and then we can go ahead and get the topic together and get you on my calendar. So before I end, I thought that was it, but you said something about forcing people. One thing I noticed, and guys, don't confuse this with saying you should be a girlfriend for a lifetime. That is not what I'm saying, because I'm not gonna do it.
No, not at all.
But what I'm saying is don't be so quick to want to be a wife or want him to be your husband and you miss all these red flags, because eventually that's going to crumble. Thank you, Denise. Eventually that's going to crumble and you're going to be in a marriage with somebody who should have stayed a boyfriend or girlfriend, or somebody
Yeah,
who probably should
absolutely.
have never been your boyfriend or girlfriend. So don't chase
Yeah,
titles, guys. Chase personalities. Chase goals. Common goals.
yeah. Make sure they got your best interest at heart.
That's it. They got to have
They
your
got
best
the
interest at heart. Yep.
and they got to pray for you just as much as they pray for themselves. Period. If you can't tell me you pray for me today, I don't need to be with you. Period.
Mhm.
Point blank.
You got to be with somebody that's selfless, not selfish. And a lot of times you see that in the dating stage. You see that in the girlfriend and boyfriend stage before you even make that person your wife or your husband. So we also got to take that accountability as well, guys, sometimes, and just, hey, I messed up. I lost on this one. Hey, it's time for a divorce. Or hey, I got divorced. Or else, it is what it is. But learn that lesson so then your next marriage can be your last marriage.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, we are out. Thank you guys again for commenting. Thank you to everyone that shared.
Thank you.
Again, the ones who want to be on the panel, please inbox me, and we will see you guys. The next broadcast will be January 17th, I believe. So stay on the lookout for that flyer. Talk to you later.